Fake news or disinformation has become a live issue today. Since the 2016 United States presidential election and the outcome of the British Brexit referendum, there's been an increase in the awareness of fake news. And this has become one of the issues facing the traditional media today. This is an investigation into fake news and how it has affected trust in the traditional media. Traditional media is any form of mass communication available before the advent of digital media. This includes television, radio, newspapers, books, and magazines.
So, let's begin.
Do you notice now everybody's using the word fake news? Where did you hear it first, folks?
Fake news is defined by the Cambridge English Dictionary as false stories that appear to be news, spread on the internet or using other media, usually created to influence political views or as a joke. Fake news consists of deliberate disinformation or hoaxes spread via traditional print and broadcast news media or online social media, and is frequently used to describe a political story which is seen as damaging to an agency, entity, or person. However, it is by no means restricted to politics and seems to have relevance in terms of general news. Many have argued that there is no definition that correctly encapsulates the issues that are associated with fake news, which include misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. Fake news as a word has only been made popular in recent times, especially by the President of the United States, Donald Trump. The concept of disinformation or fake news has been around since the 16th century, and one of the most popular cases can be traced back to the 18th century, the Great Moon Hoax of 1835, which was concocted by Richard Adams Locke, the New York Sun's editor, who sold fake stories about an eminent British astronomer and pushed the paper's circulation to shoot up from 8,000 to over 19,000 copies, overtaking the Times of London to become the world's best-selling daily newspaper.
What we got was denial. But following denial, a whole spate of false stories. It was the British intelligence, it was Berezovsky. He committed absurdities, but enough to muddy the atmosphere quite a lot.
In an interim report by the Department of Digital Culture, Media and Sports Committee on Disinformation and Fake News was defined as fabricated content, manipulated content, imposter content, misleading content, false context of connection, satire or parody. There has been liberty of expression and democratization of information creation and distribution, which allows people express their views freely wherever and whenever. The hoaxers benefit from this and impose their agenda as well as propaganda on the public. This influences them regarding various ideologies, organizations, political parties, and so much more. And this has been made easier with social media sites.
Absolutely. I think, fake news or the manipulation of facts or stories are manipulated by a whole host of organizations, not only by politicians, but it's used by lobbying firms who perhaps interpret certain facts in a different way.
Yeah.
So they can gain favor. It's very manipulated by PR companies because again they want to put a particular spin on particular facts, on particular ideas or stories that they're trying to sell to news organizations or to the general public, so they get a good image for the organization.
The advent of internet has brought about the fast and easy dissemination of information through social media platforms and search engines, making it free for all without any forms of checks and balances, which was guaranteed by traditional media. Anyone could make up any story and it will go viral. Although the internet is a major cause of the widespread of fake news, the traditional media cannot be exempted. In the UK Editor's Code, there has been constant complaints about Article 1 accuracy. The Independent Press Standards Organization has not proactively policed this article of the code and sought to adjudicate accuracy itself. Readers were left to decide what was true and what was not, and many people, in all likelihood, were led to believe much that is fabricated. The 2016 report by the Reuters Institute for the Study of Journalism showed that huge numbers of people access news and information worldwide through Facebook, Google, and other social media messaging software such as WhatsApp, rather than traditional media. And when such media are used to spread rumors and fake news, the consequences can be devastating. In 2013, the World Economic Forum warned that so-called digital wildfires, aka fake news, going viral online would be one of the biggest threats faced by society. It was also reported that the Digital Culture, Media and Sports Committee, after the Brexit referendum and the 2017 general elections were both found to have been tarnished by fake news, warned that the UK faces a democratic crisis, with voters being targeted with pernicious views and data being manipulated.
It's definitely a problem, and it's something that needs to be there. It's definitely a threat to democracy. Yes. And I certainly think it's a threat to... I mean, what's really interesting and what we see now as well is that the rise of populism, the rise of politics, which is polarizing people, particularly in Europe, in the UK as well as in the US, is now to fake news. And it doesn't bode well for a coherent or harmonious society.
All these have created space for fake news and has caused the war on truth, making it hard to trust news from both the internet and traditional media outlets.
So I would say that, and that's the main thing. There's a breakdown of trust. There's a breakdown of how much we should trust the media and how far you can actually take what they say and believe it to reporting the truth.
This decline in trust is evident in a survey published by YouGov in 2012, showing that from 2003 to 2012, there was a great decline in trust for public media institutions. It says for the first time since YouGov started tracking public trust in British institutions, more people distrust BBC journalists than trust them. In his Alternative MacTaggart lecture at the Edinburgh TV Festival, Jeremy Corbyn said, "The British people simply don't trust the media. Trust in British TV news is below the EU average, and it is more distrusted than its German, Swedish or Belgian counterparts." There have been various steps over the years taken by the government to resolve this issue of fake news across the country. And following these happenings, the Digital Culture, Media and Sports Committee launched an investigation into disinformation and fake news and published an interim report in July of 2018, and they made some recommendations for tackling the problem of fake news. These and many more recommendations were made by the DCMS committee, and in a document published in October of 2018, the Parliament responded, stating that they were working on legislating and implementing these recommendations made by the committee. Since media literacy has been identified as one of the main ways to stop the spread of fake news, the traditional media outlets, especially the BBC, have also been actively doing their quota with tackling fake news by coming up with programs to increase news literacy, especially in schools and for young ones.
And today, we're going to find out how you can spot a fake story. We've given this classroom 6 articles to read, but what they don't know is that every story is fake news. So, let's begin.
Being able to corroborate facts is more important than ever. But I think what is also increasingly important is giving people the tools, particularly those who consume social media, to be able to distinguish between what they think may be facts and what is fake news. And they need to arm themselves with tools. They need to be more literate about this. So they can take, they need to identify, and they need to be not so naive with information that they happen to come across, which is basically unfiltered.
Despite the fact that majority of the British people still do not trust news most of the time, it is apparent that there is a gradual improvement in the numbers for trust in news and traditional media agencies in recent times. Although the issue of fake news has greatly affected trust in traditional media, in more recent years, people have become aware that news from social media cannot entirely be trusted, and this has seen a decrease in the trust for social media for news and a slow but steady increase in trust for traditional media. The problem of fake news may still be around for a while, but with appropriate government policies being implemented and platforms taking the necessary precautions, the effects can easily be avoided and contained.
I think what it really shows is that when information is spread online, I think what it does demonstrate is what an important role journalists play in verifying facts and information.